Hey, what's up everybody? This is Volo Video. Volo coming at you with episode number 7. This week I wanted to talk about lowriding and law enforcement. Right, so back in the day, there was always the clash between lowriders and law enforcement. They were always, it seemed to be on opposite sides of everything. Unfortunately, I blame a lot of that on movies and TV shows. They're always putting the lowriders as the gangbangers, the people doing the drive-by shootings, when in reality, shoot, if I was gonna do a drive-by, I sure in the hell wouldn't be driving a flashy lowrider car that everyone could spot out of a crowd. It's just gonna stand out like crazy, right? So if you're gonna be doing something illegal, you're gonna be doing a drive-by, you're gonna be doing any type of jale, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be driving some bucket, you're gonna be driving a stolen car or something, right? Not a lowrider.
You know what to do. Hey, would you jack this car from Holmes? It's just nasty.
So it kind of makes me laugh, when you see those movies and TV shows, and they always got the lowriders as the gangbangers. At least a lot of movies have in the past. Nowadays, more so, like McFarland USA was a great movie. If you guys haven't seen it, the lowriders depicted in there are good people.
You'll go slow, right?
It's the only way we go, brother. Low and slow.
More recently, the Hot Cheetos movie, right? If you haven't seen that, make sure you do, it's cool. But I know since I've been lowriding since the 90s, man, I remember I grew up in a small town in Northern California, and I got pulled over all the time out in San Jose, Castro Valley, Hayward, Livermore. I'd get pulled over for no reason, but what was cool is when the officers approached me, I treated them with respect, and they would usually have me pulled over for something kind of silly, like tinted windows or a license plate light is out, you know what I mean? Something kind of silly, but I get it. I know where they're coming from. They're seeing those same movies too. They're thinking this is the gangbanger, right? So they pull me over for something silly, run my license, my tags, everything's clear. I'm rolling legit. You gotta be if you're rolling in a lowrider, right? You don't want that impounded and deal with all that hassle. So a lot of times they'd find out I'm clear. I would treat them with respect, and they would usually let me go with just a warning or no ticket at all, So they're just trying to do their job, and I get it. Now, are there some bad officers out there? Of course, there's a bad apple in every bunch, right? No matter what group of people, there's always a bad apple. So yeah, there are some officers out there that are abusing their badge and they're taking it too far. They've got that mentality where they're above the law. And yeah, of course, that doesn't apply to them. But for 99% of the officers out there, they're doing their job and they're putting their life on the line every day. So with that said, ever since the beginning, even back in 2003 when I was shooting for Lowrider magazine, when I first started there, one of the first things I did was a photo shoot on something that was kind of new back then, and that was bridging the gap between lowriding and law enforcement. It was Oakland Police, right? Oakland Police Department, they had a cruiser, right? One of their patrol cars. They got it switched up with hydraulics. It had the spoke rims on it. It was so cool just to see that. And they would take that to shows, car shows, community events, and it was so cool because Officer Bautista at that time, he was the one that was taking this car to those different areas and talking to people of the community and bridging that gap, and it was cool to see that. And that police car was funded by grants and donations. It didn't come out of taxpayer money. And then the next year, I met Albert Contreras, right? Officer Albert Contreras from the California Highway Patrol. He was out there in Yuma. He worked in the Winter Haven station, and it was cool because, man, I got to know him. He was a lowrider guy himself. He had a rag house, totally cool, like candy painted Chevy on switches. And this guy had been in the service, working as an officer out there on the California freeways and highways for over 25 years. And he was a lowrider guy. He had an Impala, he's had a Cadillac. he's definitely put in his dues for being a lowrider guy. But he's also upholding the law as an officer. And I got to know him. I got to do some ride-alongs with him and see what they do. And it was definitely an eye-opener. He started to write a monthly article. He and I would get together, we'd collaborate every issue for Lowrider magazine, and we'd do a section called Within the Law. And we would talk about laws specifically pertaining to those that deal with lowriding, like hydraulics. Are they legal? Are they not legal? That kind of thing. And it was really informative. And again, it helped bridge that gap between law enforcement and lowriders. You know, lowriders, they want to lowride, they want to cruise, but of course they want to do it legitimately. They don't want to be getting pulled over. Of course not, right? So they got to do their part to make sure that they're within the law and they're doing the right thing. You know, you can't just blame it on stereotypes or blame it on the race, you know, the color of your skin, right? You got to do your part to make sure you're rolling clean. So big props to Albert Contreras. Even to this day, I'm still friends with him. We keep in touch. We're very good friends. And I always support law enforcement, you know, the good guys out there that are doing their thing. And you know what? The generation of law enforcement, officers that are out there now, a lot of them are, you know, they're low riding too. They're into custom cars. They were brought up on rap music and low riders and that sort of thing. So I know definitely nowadays, I hardly ever get pulled over. I don't remember the last time I got pulled over in my Cadillac. You know, if anything, they're giving me thumbs up at the traffic light, you know, so it's cool. It's cool to see that division disappearing, and nowadays, you know, we got a lot of cool younger generation, you know, law enforcement that's they're with it, you know what I mean? So keep that in mind, stay rolling straight, and, you know, make sure you give your props to your local officers out there for doing a good job and putting their life on the line for you and your families. All right, till next time, take care.